Hey, welcome to part 2 in this series about recording and releasing an analog album. In the first video we looked at how to record a song to tape, and today I'd like to show you how to do a mix and create a stereo master tape. Now the song I'm using here is called It's Not Over, and it was recorded on this Yamaha MT8X from the 1990s. Before we start, I'll quickly run through how I've got everything set up and the gear I'm using. For effects, I've got a 1970s Pioneer Spring Reverb on auxiliary 1 and a 1960s Ecolet tape delay on auxiliary 2. I'm just using the internal EQ to balance the frequencies in each track, and we'll then run the main out straight into this hi-fi VCR to record the master mix. I'm going to begin by getting a rough balance for everything in mono, then move on to effects and panning afterwards. Okay, let's get going then. I'm going to push all the faders up to get a rough level, and the tape should be coming in a second.
The birds fly over prison ground. I wish I knew then what I worked at now. Money won't buy love.
Okay, that will do for the moment. I'm going to move on to listen to the drums and bass separately now. The bass is on track 1 and the drums are on track 8. Let's hit play. I think the drums need to be a little bit higher in the mix. I'm just going to sweep the mids to work out what frequencies need to be cut. Yeah, I'm going to cut some of the mids out of the bass. That's starting to sound about right, so I'm going to stop for the moment. Let's bring the vocals in next to make sure they have enough space within the mix. The main singing is double tracked with the same melody but an octave apart. The high vocal part's on track 5 and the lower vocals are on track 6. Let's have a listen then.
The river runs fast past the hanging tree. I wish you could see what's inside of me.
Right, let's stop and add a bit of EQ to the vocals next.
What I worked at now.
Let's cut a bit of the low end out of the vocals.
Or he's a worried man.
Okay, onto rhythm guitar next, which was recorded onto a 3-string cigar box guitar. The rhythm guitar part is on track 2, and there's a lead guitar on track 7, which I played on a Telecaster. I need to cut some of the bass out of this guitar part so it doesn't muddy the low end of the mix. I'll also scoop out some of the mid frequencies at around 1 kHz. Let's bring in both guitar parts and see how they work together. I'll also cut out some of the low end of the lead guitar. I'll also push up the rhythm guitar a bit in the mix. Okay, let's put all those parts back in the mix and hear it all together. I'd like to add a bit more stereo width to the track next, so I'm going to pan out the guitars to the left and the right, which should help with that.
Money won't buy love. He's a worried man. It's not to keep on loving. It's not over unless you.
On to effects next. I've got a tape echo unit on auxiliary 2, so I'm going to try adding that to the vocal parts. I'm using a short delay time to get that classic slap back echo effect.
The birds fly over prison ground. I wish I knew then what I worked at now.
I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to add everything else back into the mix.
It's not over unless you let
For the next step, I'd like to add a bit of spring reverb to the guitars. I'll just bring that in for the rhythm guitar. I'm going to turn it up so you can get a flavour of what it sounds like, and then dial it back down to a sensible level. Out there sounds right to me. I'll now bring the lead guitar part back in and add some reverb to that too. I quite like the way that's sounding, so I'm going to put the drums and bass back into the mix too. Okay, so I've just got everything set up for the final mix down to VCR now. By the way, I've made another video about how to record audio to a hi-fi VCR, so if you want some more detail, I'll put a link in the description and you can check that out first. I'm using these old stock 60-minute tapes by Mixdown and will record in the highest format option, which is standard play or SP. It's a good idea to do a test recording of a section of the song to start with to make sure the levels are okay and everything is sounding good. The VCR is rolling, so I'll hit play on the 8-track. Let's have a listen back to the test tape then. But audio from the VHS tape sounds pretty good to me. I'll do the final mix off camera, then play the episode out with a short section of the song from the VCR so you can hear what it sounds like. Please leave a comment if you've got any questions or feedback about the mix, and hit the bell icon if you'd like to catch the next episode where I'll be going through how to master the tracks and compile the album.
Horses